Yesterday, I froze during sex, and my girlfriend asked if we should stop. I said yes, and she backed off. I've never been treated like this before. I am 23 years old, and have been raped before, twice. I've also been sexually assaulted. And this has greatly affected me and subsequent relationships. 2 days ago, my girlfriend, who is also 23, was sitting on my lap, and we were making out when suddenly, images of the past rapes flooded my mind, and I froze. She obviously sensed something was wrong and asked if everything was okay, but I couldn't answer, and I began to sweat. She got off my lap and asked if I wanted to talk, but I still couldn't say anything. Then she asked if she should leave the room, and I gave a small nod. She simply grabbed her phone from the table and left. This has never happened to me before. Nobody has respected my no before. It feels strange, different, I don't know. The next morning, when I woke up, she had made breakfast and left me a note saying that if I wanted to talk, I could call her anytime. She came over after work, and I thanked her for listening to me. I was almost in tears. She welled up to and said, "No obviously means no. But hesitation means no too." She assured me that she would never knowingly hurt me. I've never been treated like this before. My parents were awful, and almost every relationship I've had 3 was similarly awful, but she's different. She's been my rock when I've hit rock bottom. She cooks for me because she wants me to be healthy. She leaves notes of affirmation all over the house for me to find. And she's generally the most genuine, amazing person I've ever met. I want to express my gratitude to her and let her know how much she means to me, but I don't know how. Also, I'm still processing how much my voice matters to her. Never in my life have I ever been treated this way. So, how do I convey how much she means to me? And will I stop feeling this way? I, 28, broke up with my ex-fiancée, 27, of 4 years 2 weeks ago after catching her in a huge lie, then finding out 3 days ago that she committed suicide because I wouldn't take her back. I am in need of some serious advice as I'm being blamed for everything. Hey everyone, I'm really in need of some serious advice as I feel like I'm being cornered by basically everyone. And I honestly don't know what else to do. My mental state is declining rapidly, and I'm left wondering if it's really all my fault. Here's a little background. My ex-fiancée and I had been together for almost 6 years, and we were engaged for 4 out of those 6 years. We met through a close friend at a party, and we just clicked. She was attractive, had a great personality, and shared similar hobbies with me, which made it perfect. In April of this year, I started noticing little changes in her behavior. She began wearing more revealing clothes to work, putting on more makeup, and so on. Honestly, I didn't have any issue with any of that because it's her body, and she can dress and do her makeup however she wants. But what bothered me more was when she started coming home late from work or spending weekends off with her friends instead of me. When I asked her why she never invited me out with her, she said it was just a girls' night out, and her friends wouldn't appreciate me tagging along without their own boyfriends. Things came crashing down when we had a huge fight in June, because she chose to go out with her friends instead of going on a date with me. I blew up at her, and we had a massive fight that led to her packing her bags and leaving. I didn't hear from her for almost a week, and none of her friends or family knew where she was until she finally contacted me to talk. I was shocked when she confessed that there was another guy involved, and that she had been lying to me about hanging out with her friends while actually spending time with him. I was furious and decided to break up with her, but she begged me for a second chance, promising to cut off all contact with the other guy. My dumbass self agreed, but things were never the same. Everything seemed okay until 2 weeks ago when a friend sent me a picture of my ex-fiancée at a mall 3 hours away from where we lived, holding hands with some stranger. It broke my already broken heart into a million pieces. When I confronted her, she denied everything until I showed her the picture. That's when I ended it. She cried and begged me not to end things, which made me angry. And I'm not proud to admit it, but I slapped her. I told her to pack her things and leave, and I informed both our parents about what had happened. I didn't hear from her or her parents until 3 days ago when my parents told me she had committed suicide. I'm at a loss. Her friends and family are blaming me, and even my own mother told me it's my fault. I feel disgusted and don't know what to do. I've taken some time off work, but have no clue how to proceed. Mom had an affair 18 years ago, and I won 8 MAM the product of it. My dad just informed me of all this and told me he will not pay for my college. While my siblings got their college experience paid for by our dad, both my older brother and sister went to the same college. My brother graduated 2 years ago, and my sister is set to graduate in 2 years. Both had their college expenses covered by our dad, including rent, food, their cars, pocket money, and more. My brother now has a job, his own place, lives with his fiancée, and has his life together. My sister already has a good paying job, and my dad still pays for almost everything for her. I got accepted to the same college, which was always the plan, and was looking forward to talking with my parents about the next steps and asking them to help me, as they did for my siblings. I always assumed they had money set aside for my college education the way they did for my siblings. Instead, I was met with a story about my mom's cheating, how I am the result of her cheating, and how my dad is not willing to support me anymore moving forward. Dad told me that mom had 18 years to let me know and prepare me for the future, but obviously, she never did. He said it was never his place to say anything since I am not his son, and he didn't want to interfere with mom's parenting. Apparently, my grandparents know I am not dad's biological son, but they haven't bothered to tell me anything either. My siblings had no idea, and they are as surprised as I am because there was never a hint of anything being off. I might be naive, but I always thought I had a great relationship with my dad. We go to see sports together. We go fishing together. He tutored me when I had difficulties with math. Dad is an engineer. He taught me to drive. I never got a hint he stores resentment towards me. I mean, he gave me my name and has explained what my name means, and he was very proud of it. It's a story he tells from time to time. He likes to talk about stuff like that about me. My mom has never said a word about anything, and apparently, she was supposed to have the talk with me, but she never did. I feel abandoned and unprepared for what lies ahead. I am not even sure I will be able to go to college anymore. I always assumed my parents would pay for it. I never had a job, and I am not sure what job I can even get to support me through college. I have no idea how to apply for loans. All my mom has done is cry and apologize, but nothing of substance. She has no idea how to help me. I don't even know if I am welcomed home anymore. It's all up in the air. I feel shame leaving my room, and if I will be asked to move out, I don't know where to go. I don't have any savings, maybe $400 put together. I am angry at my mom. I am confused about where I stand with my dad. There's a man out there who is my father that never wanted to have anything to do with me. I feel rejected, and I have no idea what to do to fix this situation. Does anyone have any idea what to do here? Do I apologize to my dad? What do I say to him? I don't know. I've been stuck in my room these past few days, reading and browsing Reddit. I have no idea what to do. My son and his friend are a couple. How do I let them know it's okay? My boy is 20 years old. He's absolutely my pride and joy, and there is nothing he could do that would ever make me love him less. For the first half of his life, I regrettably wasn't involved very much. His mother and I parted ways when he was just a few months old, and at the time, I was struggling with a heroin addiction and was absolutely not as present in his life as I should have been, nor was I suited to fatherhood at all. I saw him, at most, 2 to 3 times a year for the first 12 years of his life. I won't discuss details because that's his private story to tell, but when he was 12, he revealed to me that he was being badly mistreated at the hands of his mother and her boyfriend. Despite not being the best father at the time, I didn't want my boy suffering anymore. So I got myself cleaned up and sorted out in order to get full custody of him. I've effectively been a single and sober father ever since. And he has little to no contact with his mother. He's everything a man could want his son to be. He's uniquely kind and fiercely loyal. He's unflinchingly brave. He's incredibly generous and, despite the horrors he suffered as a child, he's unfailingly positive and sunny to the last. Somehow, I of all people was bestowed with the honor of watching him grow from a sweet young boy to the greatest man I have ever known. I cannot stress enough my pride in him. When he was 18, he got accepted into a top-ranking university on the other side of the country. I was sad to see him go, but simultaneously overjoyed that he got into his first choice and was starting a new chapter in his life. He comes home once every other month, and on the months he doesn't come home, I go to visit him. He's doing well in uni, has made lots of friends, and seems incredibly happy there, which I'm obviously chuffed about. Since his second year, he's lived with his friend in a flat off campus. I've strongly suspected since his early teens that my son is gay, and I now more or less have confirmation that this is true and that his friend is actually his boyfriend. So, for this COVID-19 faff, my son decided he'd rather come home and quarantine at mine than stay at his uni flat. His friend, however, would be left alone if my son came back, as he's a Canadian and his family is back over there, and I gather he doesn't have the best relationship with them anyway. He asked if it would be okay if friend tagged along to my house, and I said of course, no problem. They've been back at mine for about 6 weeks now. They think they're being subtle, I know, but I've caught them doing coupley things on several occasions now. The friend has slipped up a couple of times and called my son babe and sweetie in front of me, which I pretended not to notice for the sake of saving embarrassment. There have been nights where we'll be watching a film with the lights off and thinking I can't see. My son will have his arm around the friend. One day I walked into the lounge, and I'm positive they'd just been kissing and were trying to cover it, though I admit I have no confirmation on that one. The most solid evidence, however, came a few mornings ago. I get up very early to go for runs in the morning, hence why I'm making a Reddit post at 5 in the morning, haha. As far as I was told, my son was sleeping in his childhood room and his friend was in the guest room. I don't know what possessed me to do so, but on Tuesday morning, I cracked my son's door open to check on him like I used to when he was a kid. Lo and behold, they're both asleep, snuggled up together, in my son's bed. That's more or less solidified for me that they're together. I didn't say anything, just shut the door, and went for my run, and I haven't mentioned it to them yet. What I want advice on is this: how do I let my son and his boyfriend know that I'm okay with them being a couple, and they don't have to feel like they have to sneak around in my house? I want them to be comfortable here, and I want them to know I support them both no matter what. Or is that not a good idea? Am I better off leaving it alone and waiting until they tell me themselves, if they ever do? I obviously don't want to force either of them out of the closet, but at the same time, I hate feeling as if they feel like they're being forced into the closet in my house. What's my best course of action here?